But it's not enough to force me out of the church, because the Roman Catholic Church is a broad church. You would be amazed at the number of different views that are held by people within that church. It's not a narrow ideology. And there are a lot of people that are absolutely against the Roman Catholic Church because of the horrendous scandals involving priests and children, and the cover-up church participated in. And that's awful. That's absolutely awful. Some of us work from inside the church to try and change that, to try and get the church to make sure that those responsible for the abuses and all those responsible for covering up the abuses get handed over to the secular authorities for criminal prosecution.
But could I make an argument without offending you?
Mm-hmm.
Would you not say that the faith itself, because of the hierarchy and the power that enables that hierarchy, just makes this kind of system rife for that kind of abuse?
Yeah, I think any system, any organisation can be ripe for abuse. That goes for any organisation, Boy Scouts, Girl Guides, football clubs, wrestling teams.
But I feel like the
When there is a
problem
higher,
just in my opinion, I feel like the problem is when it comes to religion is that the authority is God. And God is the all powerful, all everything. And so, like, when you have the authority of God on your side, whether your parents told you something is right or wrong, that's just completely irrelevant. Whereas, like, let's say you educate your child well enough that when they go to their child activities, if they need to be aware that adults can't behave in certain ways, when you put that to a religious person, the child might be led to believe that God is directing this person, and then that's like a level of power you can't even refuse if you genuinely believe in that. In my mind, especially as a young child.
yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I think that level of indoctrination is bad, but it comes in every walk of life. We get that sort of indoctrination. And yes, the Roman Catholic Church has been guilty of it. It absolutely has. If you want to try and push back against that, do you push back from outside of the church, or do you push back from inside of the church? And I think some people choose to push back from outside.
So, yeah.
Some people choose to push back from inside.
So I don't think it's a. I'm not like Steve McRae on this. I don't think like anyone that takes part in the religion is now siding with the rapists and the people that can hide that rape.
Oh no, I'm not even thinking about that.
And I do
I'm
think you
thinking
can
about some
impact
of the,
some serious change and probably more change from within because people see you as a part of their tribe, as like a human thing, and you're a part of their religion and you share their beliefs, so they're more likely to listen to your opinions. And so you're going to have more control over swaying them than if I try to convince them.
yeah. I remember years ago, um, when it was before um Benedict resigned, when there was all this news coming out, being covered up where. And I remember one Sunday at Mass when the collection plate was around, and I just stood up and said, until the church sorts this out, you don't get another penny from me. That was me doing something from inside the church. Of the church members have said exactly the same thing. Until you sort this out, not a penny. Because we ain't funding the legal bills or bishops covered this up, moved these priests around and enabled what they were doing. We're having nothing to do with it. And before you start telling the rest of the world how they have to behave, get your bloody house in order. The problem is when you don't make a distinction between the churches as this organisation with its filing cabinets and its paperwork and all the rest of it. And the actual people on the ground, the grassroots people on the ground, who just to mass on a Sunday. And I think that distinction has to be made.
So I agree, but for someone like me, it's like I'm an anti-theist. I'm not like I don't have any problem with people on an individual level that believe in religion and things like that. But like as institutionalized religion, is that right? In that regard, I'm an anti-theist, and so my argument against that is like, yes, of course, the people that believe the thing are different from the organizations that are funded and they're filed and all that kind of stuff. But it's the grassroots people, so to speak, that enabled those organizations. If it wasn't for those grassroots people believing in those doctrines, those organizations would have no power and be able to enforce those abuses.
Yeah. But on the other hand, if those people then, there's nobody on the inside to hold them accountable. And I think it has to be approached from both of those angles, from outside of the church and from inside the church. If you try to approach it on just the outside, just the inside, then you're dividing the opposition to the abuses. And I think that there are, I'm trying to work out the right words for this, because I don't want it to come as charged in any way.
Trigger me. Actually, don't. This is not.
No. It's not so much, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, that's saying. But this two-pronged approach, people who are outside the church calling out the abuses, and the people inside calling out those same abuses.
So I think I look at it kind of like the Trojan horse, right? Yeah, you're hiding inside, and then you'll pop out and make a difference, kind of thing. Like in their case, they killed everyone, but in your case, you could change people's mind from the inside out. I do understand the reasoning behind it. I don't know if I agree. I don't necessarily disagree.
But the other thing is, why should I take the church why should I decide that the church true? Why should I walk away from it and give it up to these people who have done this sort of thing? It's not their church to use in such a way. How dare they? And if everybody just upped and left, then they have got the church. These people have got it. But they're not taking it from me. Sorry. I'm part of it too. And I think that what they did was disgusting. And you're saying to them, what you did was awful, and you are not forcing me out in style. I'm going to stay inside and make a big noise. I'm going to keep poking at you. I'm going to keep reminding you of what you did. I'm going to keep reminding you of all of the house cleaning that you need to do before you dare to moralise to anybody else.